Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adventures Audio Podcast. I'm your host, Janelle Orsino, aka Enthusiast Adventurer. In this week's episode, we've got Big Mike from Binya Outdoors. You can check him out on all of the social medias. You can check him out on YouTube. He's got his own podcast. Dude is an entrepreneur. He loves kayak fishing. He loves fishing in general. We get into a bunch of stuff with him. This is going to be a 3-part series because we had a 3-hour incredible conversation with Mike all about the outdoors. We talked about ice fishing, content creating, kayak bass fishing tournaments, making your own baits, working with companies. We get into all of that in these episodes. We had an incredible time with him. He will definitely be back on the show multiple times because he's just a super cool dude, a great friend, and he knows his stuff. So big thank you to Mike for being on the show. Again, that's Binya Outdoors, wherever you get your content from. Mike, thank you so much, dude. Now, let's get into the episode. There he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so
All right.
I have these so I have a Bluetooth dongle that goes to my PC, and I use my headphones that I fish with, and sometimes if they connect to my phone and my computer at the same time, it like shorts them out and then they die.
Yep. Yep.
I
The
don't
orange
know why.
ones, right? The orange ones that you
Yeah,
have that wrap. Yeah. Yeah. I,
so
dude, I'm still figuring out Zoom, so it's all good.
yeah,
Nice.
I
Yeah.
want fancy. I ended up going with StreamYard because of that, because I had issues with Zoom's audio sometimes would cut out, but
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I'm only like a month into doing this or two, maybe. I don't even know at
the
this
the
point. It's very
benefits
new.
of Zoom is you're going to get a lot more people that can do it with just a phone call in. You don't have
Yep.
to have the computer. So
Right, right. Have it be the option. Oh, there's gonna be times when I'm in the middle of nowhere and I'm not gonna have the service that I have, and I'm gonna be like,
yeah,
well, ladies and gentlemen, this guest is brought to you by the mountains. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Here we are in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot doing our
Yeah.
interview, so we can steal their Wi-Fi.
At least the bus has a nice background. That way, when I'm in it, like we'll be good to go.
I did a fantasy football draft at a Dunkin' Donuts one time, so I completely understand.
Really. I told my parents that I was truck camping, and they were like, because they're wary, and I get it. But
Yep.
my mom and dad were like, "You did what?" I was like, "Yeah, I just truck camped. I just slept in the back of the truck in the Cabela's parking lot." And they were like, "Oh God, like why do you do this to me?" I was like, "Mom and Dad, people do it. Like I can't live life in the bubble. Like it's not gonna make me happy. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like you got to
Yeah.
do the shit, man. You can't be afraid. Like
Yeah. You don't let her listen to the Bobby podcast where me and him were eating edibles in the boat ramp parking lot doing a podcast.
Yeah, no. No, I said, listen, this year we are focusing on YouTube. We're trying the podcast thing. Like, I'm not doing a strict 9 to 5. I'm going to try to work part time and make things
Yep.
work. And I'm traveling a fuck ton to make as much content, to live the life I want to live, like to be happy. And I literally told them, I said, I just need to hear, like, we love you. We're here for you. We support you. Like I said, I don't need like
Yeah.
any of the parenting. I just need
Yeah.
support because I do. I love
I know
them,
it's a bad idea. It's not, that's the
yeah,
whole thing.
well,
You know, it's not a, like, it's
but
supposed to, the struggle is actually part of the content.
that's the whole point
That's the
too. It's
thing.
like I won't know who I am or what I'm capable of if I don't try.
Yep.
So like the tattoo that I have on my arm, it says the word yes because I've listened to people tell me no so many times, and even my inner voices in my head tell
Yep.
me no so many times that it's like no, like fuck that. Like you have to say yes, you have to go for it. You have to like
Yep.
face the fears and go for the dream. Like If not now, when? Like, you're never going to do it. I don't want to live with regret. I don't want to not like that, you know?
Oh,
So,
what you're doing, I'm a little less willing to take the leap, but my like everybody has that like lottery bucket list thing. I
yep.
literally said like if I won one of those like stupid Powerballs, like if I had enough money where I knew I could just pay everything off, I would do the same thing you're doing. And it
Yeah.
wouldn't be like I wouldn't go buy like an RV. I would retrofit like a bus or a camper
Yeah.
or something. Like
Yeah.
it would
Or a
be
van.
like an old like drivable camper that was beat up that I could just gut and modify myself
Yep.
and just basically hook up my I have the boat, but I would hook the boat and throw the kayak in the boat and go and just
I could, if I set up a trailer system, like if I set up a hitch, I could tow a boat.
yeah,
But I'm not. I'm putting a like a 4 foot deck on the back so that I can put like the 10 foot John boat or the
yep,
kayaks, electric bikes, the generator, like that type of stuff.
yep,
So, but dude, I picked the bus because I'm like, it's metal, it's bulletproof, it's diesel, and like I know the quality of things that are going in it. As to where a camper, I'm not saying you can't use a camper, but campers have that, kind
oh
of
bus.
cardboardy, faulty pieces of, and I understand for cost and for weight, but
Yep.
like that bus is a tank. Like,
But my kayak trailer used to be a camper. I fully understand. We
yeah,
tore it down to a trailer because I was like, if anything, I'm going to get some use out of this thing because a pop up just rotted out. And I was like, you know what?
yeah.
The frame's metal. That's the only thing that's good on it. So,
There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's everybody's rig is their own rig. Like you try, even if you try and you realize that's not for me. Like my friend, she lived in a Sprinter van for years and she just upgraded to the new Ram truck and like a fifth wheel camper. It's incredible that thing. Like
yeah,
she's living in luxury, but she also works 90% of the time from home. It's her and her dog and she wants to travel. So
yep.
she works for Amazon, but she can literally, it doesn't matter what office she's in. She just has to be there
Uh,
2 or 3 times a week. So she can be anywhere in the country or the world as long as she's going to work.
that's the way to go.
So I'm just like, damn, like, where do we get that hookup? You know what I mean?
The
So,
problem I have is that so my company that I work for is a software company. So like they have been like really adverse to being full remote, but our lease in our building ends in 2 years.
oh man, that's a
And
tasty carrot.
on one side of us is a coffee company that literally roasts coffee while we're there. It's actually really sucky because in the summertime with
Ugh,
the AC, it sucks that roasting coffee smell inside.
yeah,
And then the other side got bought out, and the landlord gets pissy with us because like we're in between like a factory and like a retail shop and one
right.
office. So like the people that are I have developers who are really nerdy and needy and they
Yeah,
all need
yeah.
certain air quality or they
Oh,
bitch,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I have a feeling the landlord's not going to renew our lease.
And then you're
And
like, hey,
a lot of the things that they've done have I was literally sitting right here for work. Like I can work remote
yeah,
when I'm sick and stuff, but they have all the infrastructure set up to do it and it would save the company a ton of money in real estate. So I wouldn't be surprised. And if they go full remote, it's going to be really hard for me to like not just sell my house.
yeah. And to be like, bye.
My wife's literally going to school to be a nurse.
Oh, there you go. I mean,
So,
hey,
and by
listen,
2 more years, I'll have a couple years after that, my kids will be out of school, and then I'll be like, I don't really need a house anymore.
there
And then
you
she
go.
can go get a job. She could just be a traveling nurse, and I'll just follow her around and fish.
Heck yeah.
So,
Fish, make content, collab with people, do the thing. Listen, it's scary, okay? And I'm 29, I'll be 30 in August, but it's like I just got married. Like we don't have a house. We rent this apartment. It's a monthly lease and we know
yeah,
the person. It's like Soraya's aunt. So
yep.
it's not a problem for us to pick up whatever. We have people to lean on if we had to lean on them. It's like I I just can't the feeling of like you need to do it now rather than later it's too
I would.
strong to ignore, like, and this is a conflict that people will face their entire lives of like, I really wish I would have done that. Like I listen to my great grandparents or relatives or friends always like talk about their regrets, and I knew as a kid I didn't want to have like regrets like that. I mean, you're
Yeah,
going to, but my heart is and my head, like, they're stronger than the outside
absolutely.
stuff. So you don't know how much time you're going to get. My wife is a firefighter. I don't know when she goes to work if she's coming
No,
home, you know? So it's like you have to live every day for every day. Like you can't
there's so
you
much
can't
like
not.
stupid data entry crap and stuff that you can do remote too. Like
Yeah,
you could literally like apply for some data entry job for a few weeks, sit in a parking lot somewhere, steal someone's Wi-Fi, make enough money to go to the next city. Like worst
yeah.
case scenario. Like,
A worst case scenario, I could pick up at an Amazon warehouse,
yep,
work full time for like a month,
yep.
rack up a F ton of money. You're making like $700 a week, and then start traveling off of that. My insurance for the bus is $50 a month.
There's a lot of deals with like state parks too. A
Yeah,
lot of state parks will let their employees stay for free, so you could like look. I'm looking for somewhere to be for a month. You need someone to clean out campsites, and
right. Boom,
there you
done.
go. Let me park my bus over here. I don't even need
Yeah.
a site. I just need somewhere that all four wheels can sit on the ground. That's
I
it.
used to I washed windows for this company and they've got like 30 something branches all around like the US. And all
Mm,
I need is literally like the bucket, the mop, and the squeegee to do it. And like I could just
yeah,
pick up anywhere and just be like, all right, I'm gonna work here for a month, do that, and then be
yeah,
able to there's so many opportunities. And if COVID didn't teach us anything, it's that you can do like
yeah.
90% of the jobs that are out there remotely. And
Most
like,
of them. Yeah,
yeah, most of them. So yeah. And it's really fucking hard to afford anything anything right now.
yep, yep,
And like cuz I mean I worked for the post office. Like I was making good money and I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And my wife and I like still
yep,
she's a firefighter and she was making less than me like struggling paycheck to paycheck. She has
yep,
3 jobs. Okay? And I'm doing the part-time thing right now cuz I'm trying to get the bus finished, but like we worked. Like we put in the hours and then the
yep.
paychecks at the end of the week or the end of the month don't freaking add up. And it's just like,
Absolutely.
it's so infuriating. And I'm sick of hearing like older people being like, you guys, your generation just doesn't want to work or you guys just don't have like the work ethic, whatever. I'm like, no, you need to look at like what we're being paid, what the cost of living is, what like, look at the data for us, please.
Yeah.
Please. But you got to live life. You got to do it.
I'm I'd be all
Yeah.
for it. So,
Yeah.
so
I'm
you
ready.
guys are doing like that whole, you're doing like, when are you starting? Like, as soon as the bus is done, you're out the door, or do you have like an actual scheduled plan? And
So it keep, oh, sorry. That's my phone. My work shifts are dropping. I'm not going to worry about that. Yes. I'm not going to be able to work that day anyway, so it's fine. But the plan the plan keeps changing because like I said, she's a firefighter. She doesn't want to leave that just yet, and I fully support her and understand. Like it's an amazing career. She's found an
yeah,
incredible crew of guys. I'm not going to pull her away from that. That's selfish.
right.
Um Plan is still May.
Okay.
So I'm hitting the road in May. I'm probably going straight to Vermont. Like knowing
Come
me,
on up.
I know we're gonna hang out with you for a little while, and then we're
Absolutely.
we're doing our family trip, and from there I have to figure it out. We have a family cruise in June with like my mom's side of the family. It's like this big thing, so I'll come back for that, and then it's gonna be figuring out how we split time, like what her, because she can swap shifts and she can like pay people for shifts or she can drop whatever.
Yep.
So it's a matter of figuring out where she's going to be, where I'm going to be, if I'm collaborating with people, like, you know what I mean? Like what the goal was just to like leave everything and be full time for like 6 months. But like I said, it changes.
It's
It's
gonna
going to
be
keep
hard.
changing. It's
Yep.
going to be really hard.
I
So
mean,
we're going
that's
to
what
figure it
Becca
out.
does too. Becca will go for like 3 months at a time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden she's back in home, and then all of a sudden she's in Canada. So,
Yeah, you gotta do you. I mean, I'm gonna reach out to as many, content creators, YouTubers, whatever, as I can, try to hook up with them. I wanna obviously like I'm a multi-species girl, so like any opportunity to chase different species, like
yeah,
I'm all about it. Want to work with brands, want to work with companies. I want to do the grind. Like I just want to do it. Like I'm willing to do it. So,
yeah,
and she supports me fully, and I support her fully. So we just have to make it work, and I know
yeah,
we will, but it's whatever that's gonna look like, a couple months down the line. So.
yeah. That's awesome.
It's exciting. It's scary, but it's like so exciting. Like if truck camping didn't teach me anything, is like I'll be fucking fine. Like,
It's it. The thing is like the biggest difficulty you're gonna have, honestly, is just finding legal places to park.
yep, yep,
That's really the biggest thing. Because like in
hmm,
Vermont, it's really weird because we're like one of the most rural states,
yeah,
but there's a lot of weird rules about it.
right,
Like
right,
boat ramps get pissy if you sleep there, but yeah, you could fish on the lake all night.
all night. Yep,
and there's no problem. There's no
Uh,
like, and I didn't even know this, but there's some states that you can't fish after dark. There's
I
literally
mean, I
states that
believe
have it.
that.
There's literally states that have it in the regulations that you can't fish after dark, and I'm like, that to me, it's like,
Yeah, where
what?
are the walleye guys going? Like,
Yeah, like to me, I'm like, what about the catfish and walleye guys and the carp
yeah.
guys? Like, they start fishing in the dark. Like they
Mm-hmm.
go home when the sun comes up. Like they're not.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, there's all
Yeah,
kinds of places like that.
it's gonna be so April was supposed to be like a test drive period. I can't test drive. So the bus, I have to get it fully registered. That's gonna take probably until May because of their processing situation. And that's fine. So like
Yeah,
right now when I say like testing it, it's really just like finishing it out and then like doing some stuff literally like at home, like just figuring out, okay, like what does this do? Cook a meal in there and just see what I like, what I
yeah,
don't like, and then hit the road in May. And like even if I don't go very far, even if in May I'm still only traveling around here. I mean, our spawn like our spring starts, I'm gonna start fishing in a month or so.
yeah.
So like I'm gonna be fishing here like crazy for those first 2 months. So it doesn't bother me that I'm not hitting the road yet, but I'm very excited to like see how I like work the setup, see how I figure out like what works this way, what works best for us. We have a cat too, we have a dog, like
Yeah,
how that interaction is going to work in a small space. But it's also like it's a small space, but it's not because you have all of, you have the whole outside or wherever you are
right.
camping spot. You've got a million apps, you've got like Boondocker apps, you've got, all these places and people that are willing to let you like, hang out in their driveway or
Yeah.
rent out a
Well, and
spot. So
once you get somewhat of a following too, you'll get people that are be like, "Oh,
yeah,
you're coming to my town. You should park here," because
totally.
honestly, in New England, you can get away with trailheads a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anywhere the long trail is, as long as there's a trailhead. Because I looked it up when I was going to try to camp a bobby, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much any of the long trail like trailheads, they allow camping overnight because
Sweet.
you're camping on the trail. So
Yeah.
that alone is a parking spot.
Yep, perfect.
Um,
Yeah, it's Soraya has like she's the very organized brain. Like she will have spreadsheets on spreadsheets. Like she'll have one pin that has like a branch of like all the options ready
yeah,
to go. Like I'm gonna have like a binder of like,
yeah,
okay, here you go. Like here's your rough plan. So I'll be able to like figure that out as well as like you said, mappings and people and communities and groups and
yeah.
just go from there. So but that's part of it. Like it's part of the stress, but it's part of the fun. Like it's figuring all of that out
Record all
while
that. That's going
oh,
to be
I
the
know.
thing.
It's a gold mine, dude. It's a gold
It's going
mine.
to be like honestly, people will be just as interested of you going. I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight, as they
Yep.
are whatever thing you're doing
Yeah.
when you get there. Like
Yep. Yep. We're gonna do
that's
a half
cool.
a mile walk. They're gonna be like, wow. Like, no, you never know what it is. Even if it's like I'm washing my dog in the lake, they're gonna be like, well, how does that work? I was like, well, I've
Yep.
got like these cool gadgets and all this cool stuff. So
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
be
cool.
content on content on content on content.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean the cool thing about it is you're just gonna have you don't really have you don't have to plan it. Like it's
Nope.
not like a planned structured thing. It's just hey, we're in Vermont, and then hey,
Yep.
we're in New York, and hey, we're in
Yeah.
Maine. Like
Yep.
it's
I don't know where I'm going tonight, but this is
yeah,
the journey. I Van City Van Life, he's a Canadian guy, lives out of his van with his bulldog. I have been following him since the start. He just films every day and then at the end of the day he puts it all together in his edit. Almost like Casey Neistat did. Like he never had a plan.
yeah.
He just filmed everything out and then we'll put voiceover to it or whatever. And there will be
Couple
times when I do a little bit more structure, but like that's because I understand how to put a video together. But other than that, as long as I
look at
film and
Becca's stuff. Becca's stuff is like raw as hell,
yeah,
but
it's
edited. Like
honest. It's honest. It's
yep,
honest content. It's what happened. There's no like clickbait bullshit. Like it is it's pure and
yep,
like it works and that's great. Like the video that I just put up the other day was like me and Sarai going surf fishing for the first time together. Like I've never caught a flounder or a fluke off the surf because
right,
I'm not a saltwater girl. And
right,
like I brought the GoPro. I didn't think I had much content, but I was able to get a 9-minute video out of it. And I was like, oh, this is not half bad. Like I did
yep.
a pretty decent job. Like I always think that I have to have 15 different cameras and all the different angles. And really, if you just kind of know how to put
That's
something together and
all
you have the
cameras.
content, yeah, it's you'll be okay.
Yep.
So just got to go for it. Okay. Anyway, we can go on
And
forever.
yeah, let me know. And
Okay,
anytime you want to just talk,
dude, all the time.
when you
I'm
get
a
bored on
talker.
the road, you're sitting in the dark, just start
Yep.
messaging me because as you could tell, I literally sit at a desk all day.
Yeah, that would drive me insane.
That's
But
why I
I
fish because
understand.
I have to. That's why I spend 16 hours a weekend on the water because I got to
Yep.
make up for the 40 I sat at a desk all week.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember like being in school and just like when my senior year we would get out like 45 minutes earlier than everyone. I would go right to the lake and then I'd have to come back for sports because I played all sports
Yep,
after school. So I'd get like a 40-minute window to fish. Luckily there was always ponds like 5 minutes from the school or from my house. So I
yep,
would just like beeline it to the lake, catch a couple of bluegill or bass or whatever. Then I would go to softball practice and then I would go right back to the lake while the sun was setting and catch like a 3 pounder on like a grub. You just dream about being on the water. You're just like,
yep.
oh, can't wait.
Absolutely.
Once that rain starts to hit in the spring and like you could smell like the warmness and like all the greenery coming back. Oh my god.
Yep.
It's gonna be like 60 something tomorrow. I think I'm going out on my new kayak tomorrow.
So my boy Maine, who's down by you, went fishing.
Hmm.
Tried to go fishing today,
Oh
and
gosh,
he found ice. He's down in Jersey somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he said
yeah.
like there's like open water, and then there's like ice,
And
and
then
there's
there's like
water, and
ice.
there's like
It's
weird
terrible.
like skim ice everywhere. Because he's like he texts me, he's like I'm going fishing today, and I'm like where, dude? Like
I'll have to see. Soraya keeps telling me that I need to go out, and I'm like, no, you're not wrong because I just got this kayak. I need to figure out what it's like on the water, like what I kind of
yeah,
want to arrange things with. But at the same time, I'm like, I'll catch a pickerel or a blue. I don't care. I'll catch anything as long as
yeah.
it's not grass.
I told my buddy that we were going ice fishing on the 19th, and I was like, "Here's the deal: we're going fishing on the 19th." And he goes,
Yeah,
"Well, what if there's no ice?" I'm like, "We'll
we're
bring the
going
fucking
fishing.
kayaks.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like, water temperature's 32 degrees, but we'll figure it out in our plastic boats. I don't care."
bring it, bring
I'm
it.
like, "We'll bank fish if the shore's open. I don't care."
Fuck 'em. Like we just need to go cast a little bit.
Yep,
Last winter, I went to this one lake and like everything was closed off. I had to like park, drag my kayak, put it in the water. I caught one pickerel on a jerk bait, and I was happy.
yep.
My dad was like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Dad, shut up. You're the one who taught me. You're the one who brought me in the outdoors. So you don't get
Yep.
to say anything negative." I was like, I need to go out and fish. Like,
That's
leave
the
me the
earliest pickerel I've caught this year.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
way I look
Leave
at
me
it. You
the
know.
fuck alone. Like, yeah. So now, when you ice fish, do you have a fish finder or no? Like, do you have a graph or anything?
I do, but I don't. What I started doing, my ice fishing background is weird. So when I was a kid, it was old school, like basically dad had a wooden built shanty that
Hey
we
yo,
just threw out there, anchored down, and stayed there until we cut the lines on it and brought it home. You know, like
yeah,
we did the old school like rope and a 2x4 anchor, and then just cut the rope off the thing and drag it back home when it started to, when the ice started getting soft. Where we're like, okay, this thing's gonna be floating soon. We gotta get it off
right,
the water.
right,
And then we would go play like hockey. We would just throw hockey skates on, set up a few tip ups, and while we were waiting for tip ups, we would just play hockey,
yeah,
pond hockey style. And I'm not like a hockey player. It was just, pickup games or something to do while we were waiting.
heck
And
yeah,
then I kind of got away from it. And then I got into it a little bit a few pre-COVID when I first started doing YouTube content just to make content, you
right,
know?
right, right.
And then it kind of like it's really I don't consider myself an ice fisherman. I consider myself a content creator when I'm ice fishing.
Okay,
It's a lot of B-roll and it's a lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
like it's just a lot of like wandering around. But what my buddies really like to jig, like a couple of my buddies are really into trout, like that's their thing. And
right,
you
right,
don't
right.
really catch trout. I mean, you can catch trout on tip ups, but you're mostly
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
like a jig rod.
yeah, yeah,
And they're more into like walleye and perch and stuff that you're going to get jigging. So
right.
basically, what we do is we wander around until we find a spot that they can consistently catch perch, and then I throw tip ups out because I'm not really interested in catching
Yeah,
6-inch perch all day. I want the potential to catch something bigger,
right, right.
but it's really just an excuse to hang out and honestly an excuse to make content because as you know, like a single outing of a single outing of ice fishing turns into 12 shorts
Yep.
and like
Yep.
a bunch of like
Couple
random
Instagram
content,
posts.
couple
Yep.
pics, and then if I get a video, cool. If not, I've at least extended my ability to still put something out consistently until I can get
Right.
open water.
Right. We have
Yeah.
so I grew up in South Jersey and my grandfather, he got a cabin on like 10 acres of land in Pennsylvania. It's about a 3-hour drive from us, but we have access. So we're on the opposite side of the mountain. We have access to both sides. And there's a beaver pond. Literally, there was an upper pond that used to be for like the cows. It was their watering hole. And then there's like a lake and the beaver dammed it off. So the
Okay.
only ice fishing experience I have is on those two bodies of water, and I made these bushcraft tip ups. I took 2 sticks, made an X,
That's all
tied
you
my
need.
line to it, set it with some worms, and caught a bass. We ate that bass over the fire,
Yep.
and caught a couple of like perch and bluegill, and like so I don't, and I didn't use a graph. I did buy the K drill though for the auger for the drill because that you have to. It's
I'm hand
you're a
augering.
hand. Oh my God, I don't.
That's
I
how old
just
school I am. My buddy's got the drill and all that,
no
but
no no. I'll tell. I'm more old school than you because the first time I went, I used my axe.
okay. Yep.
I had to chop a big like
Uh,
rectangle out. And then after
that's
that, because
brutal.
you get soaked. I mean, you're chopping through 12 inches of ice,
Yep.
but you're getting, because just because you pop that bottom hole, you have to clear that fucking hole. And the only way to do that is to
Yep.
keep chopping. So
Yep.
that's why
That's
I got the
brutal.
drill. And I was like, I convinced a cousin of mine to split it with me. So it wasn't too bad.
I technically have access to a gas. Like my brother has one of those old Jiffy augers
Oh,
that
yeah,
weigh
yeah.
like 150 pounds and have like a push mower motor on the back of the thing. Like
Yeah, no,
that
thank
thing,
you.
when you start that up, people across the lake in their shanties jump. Like they could be 100 yards away and you hear guys go, "Holy shit, what was that?" Because they start that thing and it's like you can feel it in your teeth as you're drilling through the
Yeah.
like. And I'm just not into it. Like
I,
if we ever got enough ice, like if we ever got a consistent,
yep.
say 2 seasons in a row where we get enough ice where you can fish consistently, I'd go out and buy it. But the problem is the bit's like $100, and then the drill's like almost 100, $200. Now, granted, the
Yep.
drill has uses outside of fishing, but to drop $200 on a drill and $100 on an auger head to fish twice this year is all I've done.
I haven't even
I'm
ice fished
like,
the last 2 years.
the auger I have is my dad's old hand auger, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
can drill holes with this, and I don't need to spend any money. So
Yeah. I see, I get hyperfixated and then I get cabin fever and then I'll start buying things. It's like the ADHD. It's like you're looking
oh,
for that dopamine hit and then you're like, oh, I'll buy a bunch of shit and
my
use
buddy
it
Bear's
once.
got an ion. Like he's got the
Oh,
actual
yeah.
like full
Oh,
ion electric
yeah.
one deal. It's
The
that thing's
electric
awesome.
the electric game has really been stepping up with
Yeah.
everything. It's an amazing not invention, but
We used to
not
pick
even.
on the guys with the drills. Like
Oh,
back in
yeah.
the day, we used to be like,
Yeah.
look at this freaking idiot with the fucking drill bit. That's
Mhm.
stupid. And now you go to the lake and everyone's got a drill.
Yeah, it's
Everyone.
lightweight and like you said, it's multi-purpose. So like I can throw. I mean, I bought like a renewed rigid, or my dad had an old one
Yep.
from work, and he gave it to me, and he was like, "Here you go." I bought the knockoff batteries on Amazon, the big boys. And I throw it on the
Well,
sled
the
and I
beauty
go.
with that too is if you have the shed with that needs anchors, you just pop the bit
Yep.
out, pop that anchor in, drive that anchor in, pop that out, pop. You have
Yep. A tool, like a
multiple purposes.
multi-purpose
Yeah.
tool. Yep, that's what it's all about, man. You gotta have multi-functioning things for all of your shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I no graph. I literally would like use a really like a 4 foot long piece of line with a bobber, would drop that down in the ice hole and help me figure out my depth. And then when the
Yep.
bobber would move once, I was like, oh, I got a fish. Like that's how
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Um,
When I set tip ups, it's an old school trick that my dad taught me was so. I mean, I use a sounder, but a sounder is a half-ounce bullet sinker with a snap swivel on it.
there you go.
And I just put that on there and drop it down till they get to the bottom. And then what we learned is whenever you set your tip up so you remember where it was at last, we just put a button. So you
A
put the
button or
line
like a
in
piece
through
of rubber band or something,
so you
right?
can
Yeah.
stretch it down so you know like okay, that's bottom and you have a
hmm
second button to show you where you set it so that
Isn't
when it
that
takes
great?
the line out, you know where it was before so you can put it back
It's
and
like genius. Like it's like,
yeah.
oh, who thought of this shit?
Yeah,
Our ancestors.
I need an $85 battery and $100. Like the thing is when I went fishing with I went with VT2, the guys I was telling you about that we're gonna go with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I watched the video.
they use And actually, I got a video that this particular day was coming out. I think this one comes out like a couple weeks, but um, literally, they have fish finders. They have striker fours with the ice kit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's this deep and all this, and they set up all these tip ups. They set up their shanties. They were jigging. They were catching 6-inch perch all day, like tiny little perch. And no joke, the only big fish we caught was on the one tip up I set up with a hand auger,
There
with
you
my
go.
little ghetto button set up, with like everything was like old school as far as fishing goes.
It works. I mean, like
And
you don't, that's the beauty of the sport of fishing itself. You don't
yeah,
have to have the highest, modernist, most expensive shit. You
nope,
can go to fucking Walmart and buy the cheapest hooks, weights,
yep,
line, rod and reel combo, and a lure. Even just if you just pick one fucking lure,
yep,
or if you just pick hooks and a bobber and you pick up worms out of your yard, you can go catch fish that day.
yep,
Why
exactly.
do people like I was in my 9.8 emotions kayak out fishing dudes in Hobies. And I'm not
Yep,
bragging. I'm just saying like you don't
yeah,
have to
you
have
don't
all
need
that
it.
shit. It's the knowledge it's the knowledge, it's the experience of going out fishing and having those tools
Yep.
in your back pocket. The simple shit works. The complicated shit can work too, but it doesn't have to be either or.
Oh,
And we don't have to judge each other like off of that anyway.
the
We
biggest
don't
fish
have
we
to look
caught
down.
was on a boiled auger,
Yep.
eagle claw snelled hooks that I bought at Walmart
Nice.
with a shiner, and I think the weight I was using was an eagle claw split shot.
Right.
Like I had, and the line, as a matter of fact, the line that I was using for a leader was the line I won at the Jigs and Bakes 200
There you go.
in my basket.
Sweet.
So like literally,
Yeah.
I had 75 cents in my setup
Yep. Yep.
plus a
I
leader.
the ice fishing rods I bought were like Berkeley cherry something rod. They were like $10 a piece. So I
Yep.
bought like three of or
Yeah.
four of them or whatever. I threw
Yep.
my old trout reels from my trout rods onto that and was like, all right, let's go fishing.
Yep.
It whatever. My dad was using a trout rod the day that we went because
Yeah.
he was like, I'm not
Yeah.
buying a rod. He used a fucking 4-foot trout rod.
Yeah.
It doesn't you can
Yeah.
use a hand line, you could use a stick, you could use your spool. Like,
My boy Bear uses his jig rod all year long, all season.
yeah, there you
He
go.
he caught a he caught his PB Smalley up north in Vermont, I think it was like 4.5 pound smallmouth on a noodle rod, casting it out of my bass boat.
Yep, sounds about right. I
Like,
got him by like 4 ounces. Mine is 412. My personal best smallie, and then my personal best largie is 512. Oh no, like on the same day. I caught them on the same day, on the
okay,
same rig, same lure, a crawl
that's funny.
on a jig head, like
See,
a
my
fake,
Smalley should be bigger.
an artificial.
Being from
I mean,
here, my Smalley
honestly,
should be
your
bigger.
smallie should be a lot bigger.
It's
My
not.
my dad broke. He finally broke his, which was 412. And he broke that the same year. His is now 5, and mine is 412. I'm like, what kind
Yeah,
of weird
mine's
shit is that? Like, we were fishing together. I broke mine. The next day, he broke his. It was kind of
yeah,
like
mine's
fate.
just over 4, but the problem is I've kind of stopped using weight.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, they
starting to
say
use length.
length. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know at what point I'll switch that out. I mean, this year I'm gonna do some more online stuff with like length and tournaments and stuff. So I'll have the bump board or I'll have the catch
Yep.
board. But I don't know. Like, and something about them freaking fish in the springtime.
Oh,
They're
I'm not
just
gonna lie. When
football.
you're doing jigs and bakes, I'm gonna be heckling you.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm purposely going to. I do it with my buddy Bear too. It creates like views too.
Oh
Is
yeah.
like we heckle each other on Instagram all the time. Like he'll
Yep.
post a picture of a pit fish, and I'll be like, "That's too small. You should have thrown it back."
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm totally gonna do that when you post fish because it
That's
just
fine.
brings viewers, but also like
Brings you
it's
joy.
it's fun to do the jigs and bigs is I used to get pissed at Jerry all the time
Oh yeah.
because he used to pat like I would be in the money, and then on one weekend he'd get bored and go like
Blow you out.
blow me out with like a bunch of like he'd get a bunch of like at the time when they had the whole you had the biggest you got the extra point deal.
Yeah.
He would destroy me because I was like, I don't have a trout. I don't
Right.
have this, I don't have that. So then I would just capitalize on the ones I did have, and then he would catch a bigger pike, and then he'd turn around and catch a bigger pickerel, and then he'd turn around and beat my smallmouth, and then all of a sudden I went from in the money to 10th.
Yep. Yep. See, like, I don't even, because I've never done the tournament. I've never done any of that. So I'm going to be very interested to see what my mindset is because I know it's a whole different, I mean, I know it's still fun, but it's also still a competition and a tournament. And it's still,
I've
like,
had
how do you
enough
navigate that?
conversation. I've had enough conversations with you. You're gonna be like me. So this is what's gonna happen is,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where it's beneficial, is you're gonna have a distinct advantage because of your travel,
Right.
right? So what you're gonna have is you're gonna have the ability of where are you? Because you're not gonna go for pike if you're down south. They don't have them. They don't have
Right.
northern pike down there, so you've got to go for something different. But what I do is I use it as a reset. So if I'm traditionally bass fishing, right?
Right.
That's my main sport.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out there, I'm having a bad day, I bring night crawlers. And I'm like, screw it. I'm done. I'm gonna go over to this lily pad field. I'm gonna throw my anchor down and I'm gonna get the bluegill I need.
Yep.
And
Monster.
then I need that perch. So then I'll go find a spot where there might be perch, or I have a couple of lakes near me that I know that it actually is almost aggravating because I will catch 1-to-1 pike to bass. Like
Oh,
it's
man.
that even.
I
They're not
wish.
monsters, but there's just that many of them in there. So
Yeah.
then I'll just go throw a chatterbait because for some reason pike and chatterbaits are have a love affair for each other,
I
and
know.
I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. But what I do is I go try to check off a species I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to get the pissed offness that I'm not catching bass out of my head, and then go back to catching bass after. And
Yeah.
it helps me like kind of like
Yeah.
do that reset. And from a content standpoint,
Oh.
you get the advantage of, hey guys, today we're gonna catch crappie.
Mm-hmm.
I suck at
But
catching
also,
them, but let's see if I can do it.
yeah, or a bonus fish. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, we got a perch, but it's a nice one, and I can, yeah.
And there's YouTube cheat codes. So like I stopped recording intros. I don't do them anymore.
I heard, yeah, I watched your tournament video. Where like, I'm not fucking doing that anymore. I never
No.
really did. Like, I don't mind voicing over it, but
Yep.
whatever. Like, I know, like the Fluke Master or whoever always had a fish and be like, "Welcome back to the," like that's how he would start his video, and I'm like,
Yep.
my brain doesn't work that way. I have to be recording from like the time I leave the house
Well,
to the
so
time
what
I get
I
back.
do, but that's what you do is this is where it works for your type of videos though.
Hmm.
Literally what I would recommend is plan out what you're going to do. Like you want to make something, right? But
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
learned is you record your intro or you do all the B-roll that you need to do your intro, and then so it's kind of shady in a way, but like I never really make it. I don't. It's not deceptive because I never really claimed I
Right, right.
wasn't doing this, but like I'll wear the same 5 shirts in my videos.
Oh, you're a bad man.
So what I will do is I will go fishing and I'll get there, and sometimes I will record an intro. I'll be like, "Hey guys, today we're gonna go try to catch smallmouth."
Right.
And then I get halfway through the day and I'm like, okay, guys, what we're doing is we're actually trolling for trout. I start
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
because I did catch a trout.
Right.
So, like, I will get halfway through the day and then stop and redo my intro
Yeah.
because I'm like, actually, that didn't work. So, or what
Right.
I'll do is, which is another little trick I learned, is like the education piece
Hmm.
is if I'm not catching fish, I'll just be like, okay, what bait am I fishing? Crankbait. Cool. I'll
Right.
stop and make a 3-minute video about how to fish a crankbait on ledges.
There you go.
And then I've made content and then I feel like, okay, I can breathe now because I this trip wasn't a waste of my day because I
Right.
made.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's like the heartbreak and the struggle of content creating. So I thought that I had transferred a whole 64 gigabyte card that has stuff from Christmas till literally the end of the last
Yeah.
weekend, so the expo. Thought I transferred it over. I cleared the card. Was not on my terabyte.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind. My wife, this is the second time she's had to do this for me. She has the software, recover all your shit. So she literally recovered. It took her 2 days, recovered everything. But I was like, you're heartbroken, you're devastated, you're pissed the fuck off. And it's like, so my grandfather always had a camera in his hand. He was always a guy like making home videos. I
Yeah.
love watching old home videos. So that's why I started making YouTube videos. I just love being able to
It's
watch my
fun, yeah.
adventures or my life through the eyes of
Yep.
myself back whenever it was. So I got really fucking mad because I was like, I just did truck camping for the first time. I filmed everything, even when I was mad. Like, I kept a good
Yep.
positive attitude, even if the video turned out like crap. Like, I was so happy with myself. And now I don't have it. Like, I was fuming.
I
Fuming.
I spent 6 hours one day. 6 hours, not a bite. And I was trying to catch anything at this point. Pickerel. I even had bobber and worm and couldn't get bluegill to bite. And I caught a 6 pound largemouth. And I wanted to make sure I didn't lose that footage. So
Uh-huh.
I tried to take my memory card out in my kayak and it
Mm-hmm.
spring shot out of the camera.
Oh
Because you
no.
know how like
Oh.
sometimes when you
Yep.
push them
Ba-bing!
just right and they flick out? Yeah, and it went right up over me and right in the lake. And this is after all of my this is actually the last night's live
Yeah, yeah.
was part of this because all of my stuff had stopped working. My electronics had stopped working
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't. That's why it ended up prompting me to buy that battery too.
Yep,
So
yep.
I had all my battery stuff wasn't working properly, so I only had one camera running. And then I got one good fish catch that I was like, at least I can make a short. And it was a good fight, and it was on plastic that I poured. So it was like a
Right, right.
perfect storm of like, okay, it's a bait I made. I can make a video out of this. And it went pink. And I'm like,
Heartbreak.
I have 15 terabytes of external hard drive sitting on my computer right now.
How that hurt my head. I have an eight, a six. I have an eight, two sixes, and then I have a bunch of like the two and the singles terabytes.
Yep.
Like I have the travel size ones for when I'm on the road, and
Yep.
then when I come back, I dump them all on the main hub that's here,
Yep.
and then I start over again. Like,
Yeah, what I started doing is I when I edit them, I will label them. So like when I'm filming at the end of like when I catch a fish,
hmm
I will hold the fish up, stop the camera,
yep,
and then release the fish
there you go.
or catch the fish release on the camera if that's what
Yep,
I'm using so that I
right.
can go through all my videos. The first thing I do is I go through them all and I watch the last 30 seconds.
Yep.
And if I'm
Where's the
there like
fish?
this, then
It's
I
a good
go
one.
F1, F2, F3, and I label them. And
hmm
then I go back through every once in a while and watch the raw. And I'll be like, make a short. I'll put like notes or like I'll literally commentate my videos at the end. So like
Yeah.
I will be at the end of the video, but like, don't use that. It was absolute dog shit. And then stop the camera. So then when I play the video back, I'm like,
Yeah,
dog
you
shit,
know.
delete.
Yeah.
So I doubt I can delete the raws I don't care about and then I basically live edit that way. But that frees up a lot of space. But like you said, I end up with so much like
Yeah.
just hours of me fishing that I end up. It actually works out because I go through it in the wintertime. And
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like,
Oh, look.
there was literally a video one time that I didn't even realize I was fishing, was not paying attention, and I heard a splash. And I remember hearing a splash.
hmm
But then I actually rewatched the video and I caught a fish behind me, a trout,
Yeah.
literally went like 2 feet out of the water. Like I chasing a moth. It was like you could see this like flutter in front of it, and it was
Oh,
like
wow.
trying to catch the moth. And then like, but the fish had jumped and landed before I heard what was going on.
Right.
So you see me turn and go, wonder what that was.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
had no idea that I'd caught this whole like nature scene behind me
You
until
learn
I went
so
back through the
much.
footage.
You learn so much by watching your footage. Like, and you just like if
Big
you
time.
look at Les Stroud, I mean, he had a background in documentary style filmmaking. Like, he had a background in music. Also, he knew how to, have a concept, have a
Yep.
storyline, and build that. And that comes through on all of his shows. If you talk to like Dave Mercer, his oh my gosh, his show. Which one is it?
He's got a bunch
What
of them, but
I know, but his TV show, I mean, he counts every single cast. He
yep,
breaks it all down. He films the entire time. He gets to sit there and
yep,
watch that. He also has footage underwater of how the fish are acting. Like, he gets to see that. Like, there's
yep,
things that you get to see the more content you have, create, observe, experience. And it's
yep,
like, it's awesome. I mean, I learned how to put videos together. I used to do it through YouTube Studio. So I would take an SD card,
yep.
upload it to YouTube in private, and then put them all together and then
Yep.
upload it that way. And I think it would take me weeks to get one video done. Like, it
Big
was
time.
terrible. And it
Yep.
was so slow. And then, like, watched a couple YouTubers. I was like, all right, how do I do a video? They're like, well, we do a couple clips of talking, and then you throw some B-roll and some music,
Yep.
and then you, like, keep repeating. And I was like, oh, simple. But, like, I just needed somebody to tell me that for 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, I
Yep.
can elevate this. Now I'm playing around with, like, uh, being more vocal and automating and like saying as
Yep.
much as possible, because like then I can take clips where I'm doing the thing but I'm talking about what I'm doing, and I
Yep.
can make that look better. Like, you're always elevating your style or your format or how you make content. So
I don't know how long you've been
we
doing it, but wait till you start like not even realizing that you're commentating it. So when
oh,
I
I
go with
talk to
my
myself
wife,
anyway. Oh yeah.
she gets like, I'll be sitting there, we'll be completely silent in the boat, completely silent. And we're just fishing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'll catch a fish. And then that's like, okay, that's going to be my intro. Like I'll think about, I've been fishing this whole time. I've been fishing for 4 hours. Haven't
Hmm.
caught anything. I'm like, I don't have a video. I got nothing. So then I'll rack my brain on like, maybe I should do a video on knots or something, and then all of a sudden I'll catch a fish and we'll be completely silent. She'll be hanging out in the back of the boat fishing. I'll pull this little tiny fish in. It's not, 2 pounder, not even maybe a pound and a half. And I'll be like, hey guys, so today we're fishing for a largemouth bass. What we're going to do is we're going to be flipping docks with Senkos and see if
Hmm.
they'll bite and then throw the fish back in. And she'll stop and go, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, I went into YouTube mode. I'm like, it just
I
like switch flips in your head sometimes.
Yeah, so I've been making videos since I think 2011, 2012 with like a
Yeah,
little point and shoot from Walmart.
yeah,
My mom got me the GoPro, I think, in 2013. So then I started doing that,
yeah.
and then I've been going on from there. But the thing is, like, I was always afraid to do that. So, like, when I was on the boat with my dad and my brother, my cousin, or my mom, I was always
It's weird
afraid
at
to
first.
talk to the camera.
Yep,
And I'm not so much anymore, especially like my wife has helped me with that. But I would have like three cameras rolling, and then
yep,
I would just put that together with music in the background. It's not
yep.
good. Like, I could have
No, it
put
works.
together like John B style videos if I just would have put a little bit more
Yep,
time in B-roll and talking to the
yep,
camera. But now, especially like with my wife, I'm like, I need you to keep me accountable and make sure that I actually am not afraid to pull the camera out and say whatever I need to say, get the shot and move on, because people
yep.
don't fucking care around you. Like, I was so paranoid
No,
about cooking in the parking lot, and then I was like, oh, this lady looked at me while she was like walking her dog, and then she was like, whatever. Like, they don't care. Everybody's living in their own world, in their own bubble, doing their own thing. So it's like, oh, they observed it for a second and they moved on with their life. Like,
I got 3 videos that hit this month. That
there you
was
go.
me standing in the parking lot before going fishing, re-rigging, because I
Yep.
was deciding on whether I even wanted to fish that lake or not. So I was
Right.
like, screw it, I'll just retie. Because I'd fished a tournament the day before. And I was like, I
Right.
just need to cut all these leaders off anyways. So I just put the camera on the other side. I literally have my camera on my kayak just on, and I'm just standing on the side of my trailer. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna do a leader to braid knot
Yeah.
video.
Boom.
Did the video. And then like I watched the video and people like walked behind me and they stopped, they look at you, and then they kind of like literally stood there off to the side and watched
Yeah.
and then walked away. And then like one lady literally came up to me after I was done. And she was like, how do you do that? And I'm like, what? And she's like, you had like 4 people just standing there watching you. And I'm like, I'm at the point now where
You have to
I
zone it
do
out.
this so much that I don't even realize there's people around me. Like I don't even
Yep.
think about it. And
Yep.
it's funny because it's cool. That's why I like fishing with like doing collabs is fun because when you fish with someone who understands the content, you get why like all of a sudden that person stops fishing and starts recording the birds and
Right.
starts like holding their phone over the water to show
Yeah.
like
Or like
the
paddles
lily pads
backward and then forward. Yep. Yep.
or
To get
like
a
why
ripple
they're
or something.
yeah and why they're like literally just holding a bait and going like this with the camera and different angles to get that weird like
Dude,
starting shot. Like it's always
I'm like doing this. I'm like, my dad's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, he's like, what are you? I'm like, it's gonna look really
yep
cool when I make the
yep
video, Dad.
yep.
And sometimes
It's
I
like
don't know
when
if
you
I want
showed
to go
up.
left to right or right to left. So I do both, and I'll do that for like 7 different shots. I
Yep
do right to left to right, up to down, whatever. And then when I'm editing, I'm like, all right, this makes sense. Oh, I want to do it this way. Like,
Yep.
I have the content now. So,
That's why literally when you were at A-Base booth at the show, and I was like, I already got that footage for
yep,
you
yep,
if you
yep.
want it, because I knew exactly. Cause as soon as I saw the camera come out and then you kind of like assumed the position, I was like, I know exactly what she's doing. And I
Yeah.
did it, like I did that to them because they just basically had me up there to hang out. And
Yeah.
I just like I didn't feel right just like showing up on their dime and then just like not helping them
Right.
sell stuff. So I was
Right.
like walking around filming stuff, and I was just
Yeah.
like taking pictures. I got a bunch of pictures of their baits and crap on my phone that I'm just gonna slowly release as like Instagram photos and stuff. But like I was doing the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I was just like sitting there, like they were watching me, and I was just like literally taking my phone, and I was like.
Mhm, mhm. Yep.
And
Yep.
then
And
like,
they're like,
oh,
what are you?
do,
Yep.
do the slow zoom in and the slow zoom out and like the
Yep.
weird like wrap thing. And they're
Or
like,
like
look at,
the slow down and then come back up.
yep,
Yeah.
your own time lapse, your own version of a time lapse video because
Yeah.
time lapse actually is really scary when you actually use it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I
Yeah.
learned. I used to try to do time lapse when I drive. Don't. Just
No.
speed up the video in your editing software because when you do
That's
time lapse when you drive, it's
all I
like
do.
you look like you're driving 100 no matter how much you speed that back up.
Yep. I've always, for any of my time lapses, I just record and then I'll speed it up or slow it
Yeah.
down. It's just, it's easier, it's smoother, it's especially on a
Yeah.
GoPro too, because the GoPro you can pick your frames per second, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
fuck around with photos like that because it's also a pain in the ass in the edit
Yep.
to do it too. It's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm obsessed with eBay lures. Like I know Bobby talked about them, but if I didn't go to that
Cool.
expo, oh my god, I bought 3 lures. I would have bought many more. The problem was they were swamped. Like their booth
Yeah.
was absolutely swamped. And I
What I
was
have in
like,
here?
I'm not gonna go there and whatever. You don't have anything?
No, I didn't have the
All right.
box that you gave me. Check this out.
All right, you grab one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab the stuff that I bought.
Gotcha.
Okay, this is where we are going to end part 1 of our conversation with Big Mike. Thank you again so much for being on the show, dude. I really appreciate you. You are going to be a good friend of mine for the long haul. I can already feel it. You're a super cool dude. Everybody, you need to go check him out at Binya Outdoors. Make sure you tell him that we sent you. For now, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next adventure.